Good morning, everyone. My name is Vibhuti. So this is the first I can say the session in the Vasai Vira. So I really like to thank the entire organizing committee that in my 16 year of career, I have attended many sessions in Dadar, Andheri, and many sessions in Gujarat also. But it's first time happening in Virat, so big round of clap for all the organizing committee. And thanks everyone for coming here. So I will give my little intro and then I will discuss on the low code, no code. So like I have around 16 year of experience, and in that 16 year, like 12 years, I was purely in the development side. Like I was the full stack developer. So building a web application, desktop application, mobile application, services, everything, and we were doing lots of code. And from the last 4 and 5 years, I'm purely using a Azure platform, and there I come to know that in industry many codes are already done, and we are trying to write the same thing. Like I will give the example, we have a SAP application, and many are using the SAP application, they are consuming the data. And suppose we are also writing the same code to read the data. So we are not doing anything new. So we have to work smart and we have to reuse the thing which is already developed, tested and proven. So here the Microsoft like integration service I come to know in around 4 years ago. And in these 4 and 5 years, like approx like we have delivered solution for more than 100 customers. And it is working very smoothly. And the second part is like this issue everyone in face, like whether it's a college project or the industry project. Whenever our system need to be run, many times it's happening that our server is failing. Application is working fine, but server is failing and there we can't do anything. So here Microsoft provide the serverless architect where we can achieve the same thing without taking the headache of server. So we will see how this, like how we can do this. So I will start now. So what exactly the Microsoft is providing? So it's like we are going in the mall and we are seeing everything what we need, like whether it's a DMart or anywhere. We are getting everything what we need with respect to our household. Similarly, Microsoft Azure is a product name or the brand which provide all the things which we need to meet our industry demand. We have to do code also, but that's a very minimum only when that Microsoft product is not able to solve that our custom problem or the custom requirement. In that case only we need to go with the coding. Otherwise, we can do the less coding or the no coding. So like, what are the resources like I have used in the Microsoft? So the Logic App. The Logic App is the workflow integration tool. It's very powerful. Like suppose if we are going in any country, like we are going in Japan, what problem we will face is like the translation problem, like what they are speaking and what we are speaking. We will not able to communicate with each other. So what we are doing, we are hiring some guide who is helping us to understand the language. So in IT world also, like we have a many application, SAP, then we have Oracle, we have a NetSuite also, and many third-party system. They are interacting with each other. So we need a middleware service. Like we are going in the DMart, we are swapping the card. So that POS machine is talking with your banks. So it's not a direct connection. We need some middleware. If there is a direct connection, then there is a chance of security concern. If that POS machine can connect your bank, means they can directly detect the money or they can do anything. So security concern is also coming here. So Microsoft, with the help of Microsoft product, we can build the middleware which will talk with the respective service and it will help us to get our work done. So Logic App mostly we use for the integration platform. What exactly integration platform is, how we can do, I will give the live demo by building the small small integration on the clouds directly on the Azure portal. Second is the service bus. Like Amol said, like we have to opt the queuing mechanism. So if you go with your server thing, you need to set the infra and we will use the IBM WebSphere, which is more famous. So Microsoft also provides a very similar product called a service bus, where we can push the data in a queue, and the system will read the data from the queue. So this type of architect, we called it as a disconnected architect. Like your end user is not directly connected with the servers. So we have a queue in the between. So this Microsoft provide this service bus which can solve this problem. Then Cosmos DB. So Microsoft also provide the Cosmos DB. It's a NoSQL DB working on the Mongo principle. And to connect or to consume the data from the Cosmos service, we can use the JavaScript. So it's a very easy to use and configurable. This is the Databricks. Like nowadays, we all are hearing the data science and AI. This is not possible without Python. So Databricks is not the Microsoft product. It's a Databricks is a separate entity, and Microsoft and AWS all have a tie-up with the Databricks, and they are providing the solution on the AI used with the help of Databricks. Then Redis cache. So as Amos said, that caching is very important because same data we can't read every time from the server, because unwanted it is performing the read and write operation on the database, like connection open, connection close. It's a very expensive operation, and also it will hit the CPU usage. So Redis cache, like Azure is also providing the Redis caches. Then VM. Many times it's happening that we have a custom application which Microsoft has not yet built, or not. It's not a part of the Azure. So we can get for the VM also. And nowadays many of us are using the cloud VM only. Business Central. This is the ERP system which Microsoft provide, where you can go and configure your system. So like there are many such systems. I will not go in deep, but I will just say like Power BI, like we have a data, but if you can't visualize the data, it is of no use. And whenever the election is happening, whenever the results are getting shown on the screen or the TV, they are visualizing the thing, like how many gains, how many losses, which state, which city, who is gaining. Suppose if I will give you the same data in a tabular format, no one will able to understand what exactly is happening. Similarly, like IMD is sharing the orange alert, red alert. By just seeing the graph or that image of the map, we can understand that our area is in red zone or the green zone. Suppose I will give you the list, search your district and see what's your zone, like whether it's a red zone or orange zone. It's very difficult. So Power BI Microsoft provide for the visualization. So many such products are there, which Microsoft is providing. So we will not explore everything today. Today we are going to explore the Logic App. Then we'll explore the blob storage. So blob storage basically used to store the data without any server. And similarly, this blob storage data can be used for the CDN also. We will use the function app and also the API. So what we can do with the Logic App? So like we are building APIs. So today in our session we will build this API only. So we are building the API. So we can build the API on fly immediately using the Logic App, which we will see. Second, scheduler. So whenever we are talking with any system, whether it's an ATM machine or any of the IT system, only two mechanisms exist in the industry. Even if we are going anywhere, if we are opening the door, only two mechanisms, push and pull. Same way, if you're building the API or if the two systems are interacting, only two mechanism is there, pull and push, no third mechanism. So in pull mechanism, what is happening? Your system will contact with that system and pull the data. And in push mechanism, it's the responsibility of the source system to send the data to the target system. So this is the only two mechanism. So in Logic App, we can build the API, which will be either read the data from the system or you need to push the data. Whenever we are pushing the data, then we are saying it is an API call. Like today IoT is trending everywhere. Nowadays switches are smart. So whenever you are giving the command, they are pushing the data to the respective device. Second is the scheduler. Scheduler means like whenever you want to build an application which will read the data from the system, like it will run on the scheduled time, not on the demand. So then we can go with the scheduler. The third is the event base. This is also very critical. Like if we see this fire sprinkler, this will not trigger automatically. This will trigger only in case of fire. So it's an event base. We can say it's a reactive program. When something is happening, then only it need to be triggered. So we can build an application trigger based as well. Like if anything happen, it will trigger automatically. No need to watch that things 24 by 7 and many more. So why Logic App? The first I said it's a serverless. So when I say serverless, means we have application which is running but without server. So many will see like how it is possible, like we can run the application without server. So yes, it's possible. Nowadays all cloud computing is providing this serverless. So as a developer or as a product company, I do not have to worry about the infrastructure. I will only use their services, that's it. And it's a fully owned and managed by the respective cloud computing. Whether you go with Azure, whether you go with Google or Amazon. So it's a fully owned and managed by this big giant. So it's a serverless. Second, inbuilt connector. As I said that whenever we want to read the data from the SAP or the SAP HANA, we do not need to write the code which is already in place in the industry, tested and proven. So Microsoft Logic App provide too many inbuilt connector which will solve our problem. Third is the scalability. Many times happen like if we see the example of Flipkart and the Amazon, like they are offering the big billion sale. At that time, the requirement is increasing drastically. So we need to scale it, which is possible in the Logic App very fast. And the fourth is the cost effective. So like Logic Apps comes with the 3 plans. One is the consumption plan, where anyone can go and create a subscription. Building a Logic App integration is not chargeable. Only Microsoft charge you for the executions. And the charges is also very, very, very minimal. Like suppose for 1 lakh hits are free. After that they will charge $0.0001 per executions. So which is very less in case of consumption plan. Then they have a standard plan. In standard plan, that server will be active 24 by 7. So they will charge the server cost as well as the consumption cost, how much we are consuming. And then they have an enterprise plan also, which recently they have introduced. So it's a very cost effective, and like Logic App is also like Microsoft is not sharing our data also. So as per our requirement, we can choose where we want to go. So we will see a live demo. In demo, what I will do, I will try to build an API using a Logic App, and I will live that immediately within a few seconds. And for that, I will use the blob service also. So like this is the Azure portal, and here you can see like too many products they have. If we click on the services, you will be able to see lots of product Microsoft is having. We can explore or use as per our requirement, and you need to pay only for the consumption or the executions. So these many products they have. Almost they have everything whatever any IT company need. So like I guess last month there was an attack and Microsoft system was down. And on that day, we come to know that airline industry or all the shopping malls are using the Microsoft service. So it's a technology, and there will be downtime. But as per my experience, I have seen that downtime very less, like 99.99%. Microsoft itself is claiming the uptime. And in my 4.5 years of career of like I spent on the Azure, I have seen very less downtime. So here, what I did here, like I created one file like the country data. I will directly show. So this is the storage account. Like what exactly the storage account is. Like we want to put some photo. Like nowadays we are using a Google photo where we keep the photo. Similarly, whenever we are building the app, we prefer to store the data in the, if it is Amazon S3 bucket, and if it is a Azure, then it's a storage blob. So there we can keep our static file, even we can keep the log also. So here I have put one file. So here I have, like, for the demonstration purpose, I have put one file which is having a country data, the country name and the country code. Now my requirement is that I want to build the API. So how many ways are available? We can go with the C#, we can go with the Java, we can go with the Node.js. We will do the development, then we will deploy, we will test that application, and then we will do the deployment. Then we need a DevOps also. So everything will get eliminated here. So now what I will do, I will create the Logic app. So you can see the plan, the consumption plan, pay as you go, pay per operation. Then we have a service plan. In standard, like, they have two plan, dedicated, and like in that they have a ISC also they have introduced. Like if they have a enterprise customer B2B and they have some requirement of connecting a different ERP system, then we can go with the third plan as well, which is very recently Microsoft added. So we will go with the consumption plan. So I have selected this consumption plan. I will select the resource group. I will give the name as TechX2024. I will select the region, like where I want. So it will take few seconds. Our resource will be ready for usage. So we can see in few seconds our resources are ready. So now I will create one small API. So as I mentioned, like whenever we are building any API, so every application or every API need to have the entry point. So when we are building any workflow integration, so as I mentioned, push and pull mechanism. In other words, technical term, we can say on demand or schedule based. And also the reactive one, that is also there. So that is called as a trigger point. Like when this logic app or whatever integration we are building need to be triggered. So the first connector we need to add as a trigger. So like as we are building the API, so we need a HTTP trigger. So they have provided lots of connector. Here I am using the HTTP trigger. Then I will add a very small response, like kind of hello world. And I will return welcome to Logic app. And I will save this. Now our API is ready. I will hit that API and it will give me the response, welcome to Logic app. So can anyone tell me, like, have you seen like the API building much faster than this? Anyone can have any experience? So I forget to mention the API method, which is very important. Like if anyone work with the API, we need to specify the HTTP verb. So I forget that. That's the reason it gave me an error. So here is our API. I will hit. We can see the message, welcome to Logic app. I just click on save button and our API is ready. Now if we see the URL is very big. It's not I can say the user friendly. Whenever we want to expose this with the client, we need a custom URL. So Microsoft provide the API. So this API not only we can use with the Logic app, we can use it with any of the services. Like suppose if we have our own hosted API which is on some server and having some IP, I want to hide that IP. So we can use the API which will work as a reverse proxy and it will work from the custom API. So we can, like, we have multiple servers hosted on different IP addresses, but we will have only one entry point. Whatever entry point we will define. So now what I will do, I will first register this endpoint in the API and then I will elaborate this. So now I will go on API. So I guess anyone is having any questions or any doubt till here? So this is another product called APIM service. So by name we can see that API management service. We called it as APIM. So here we have option of APIs where we can go and register our API. So POC is the, I have created a head called a POC. So I will not create everything from start. I will directly clone with the existing one. I will change the name here. Hello.
Hello. So I had a question about the working of the APIs. So as you've shown us, like the method and what is the response and return and everything. So how does the error handling work behind it?
In the Logic app or?
Logic apps.
So in Logic app, we can use the scope connector. In scope, like when like whatever, if we follow any of the programming language, whether it's a Python, C#, Java, everyone following the OOPS concept. Like even if we do the game programming, only few things are there which we need to keep in mind. If you keep that in mind, you can work on any programming language. So what are that? The first thing is, like in all programming language, we need to do the control. And when I say the control means what type of control we are doing. We are deciding how the program will flow, correct? So we have to control the thing we are using for each, like not sorry for each, if else and switch case. Ye nahi to wo. That we have. Then other control part is like we are doing the iteration. And in all programming language, whether it's a Java, Python, C# or C++ also, there we have iteration for each, for and while loop. And then we have a try catch everywhere. So in Logic app, they provide the scope connector. So whatever integration we are building, whatever connector we are adding, we can go and add it in that scope container. And then I will show you that in the Logic app. Let me show you. So whenever we are running any API, there is only 3 chances: success, failure and skipped. There is no other chance. So in Logic app, Microsoft is already provided that. Like suppose if you are calling any API and that API response fail, how you want to inform the user? So we call this concept in the Logic app is a run after. Like we can see here, is successful. had timeout, is skipped as failed. So whenever we will select like my next connector also need to be run, even if it is failed or even if it is skipped, you can use this setting and you can describe the message what you want to give to the user. So your question answered?
Yeah. Thank you.
Thanks. So here I was doing the registration in the API, like it was a very big URL. It was exposing the server also, region also. I want to hide that. So here I'm using the API layer. So I give the name of the API is the TechX2024. And here I will change the endpoint, like what need to be called. So I want to call the Azure Logic App. I will click on select. I will search my Logic App and select. And click on save. So now you can see the URL is now sorted and it is giving me the same response. Welcome to Logic App. So we can go with any custom domain. POC you can see there. It's just a separator. And whenever, like nowadays we are using the concept of microservices. Earlier what was happening, single application was handling all the transaction load. Nowadays, everywhere we are using the concept of microservices. We are splitting our API logically. Like if we take the example of Flipkart, customer registration is the one part, purchase is the another part, sales is the another part. So suppose we have a single API, like all logics are at single place. And if you want to do the deployment, what will happen? Your system will down for a few seconds. There are some applications where we can't afford a single minute downtime also. So microservice concept give us that flexibility. Like suppose if I want to release anything for the customer service, like customer related pages, I will release only the customer related API. So the rest of the service will not impact. So here we can go with the same thing. So that's the reason like I have created a partition in the Logic App. So now I will extend this Logic App further. So I will open this. Now, as I mentioned, I have put the file on the blob service. Now I will read that file and I will send that response to the customer. So I put the file on the blob, so I will use the blob connector. And what I want to do, I want to read the file. So I will select the action. So each connector will have a multiple actions. As per requirement, we can go with any of the actions. So I want to get the file. So I'm selecting the get blob content connector. I will select the connection. This I already did. Then I will select the file. So I want to read the country.json file. And now I want to change the response. So from welcome to Logic App to, I want the output from that file. Just select the file content and click on add. And I will click save here. Now when I will hit, I have not specified the content type. So our client, like whenever we are, like browser is our client, it is interacting with your backend services. And the content type play a very key role. Suppose if I am flushing some text and I am not specifying that text content type should be HTML, then it will send it as a raw text. You will not get the UI design. You will get the HTML code. And many times, if you are surfing on any of the site, you will receive the HTML code directly. This is only happening because we are not specifying the content type. Same way, like if we are using the mobile, your file extension is helping your operating system to decide which app need to be open. If you want to open a text file, automatically if you have a text app, it will open in that. If it is a PDF, PDF viewer will come. If it is a Word, Word will come. Same way, content type play a very key role here. So I have not specified the content type, so what happened here? It provide me the raw file. The same data in the raw file. But I want to give it as a API. So what I will do, I will go here and specify the content type. So I am specifying that it's a JSON file. And I'm saving it. The same API. Now see the response. We are reading the file and we are getting the response also. And till now I have not write any single line of code. So why in my title I said low code, no code. So with the help of Microsoft product, we can achieve many things with almost no code, without writing code, because they are containing lots of connector. But in some cases, we need to write some code as well. In that case, that's the reason we are saying it's a low code, no code. And everywhere, like even like if we are doing a development, so we need to do the development in such a way that it should be a generic. If your coding is generic, you can convert your application into low code, no code. And this is the very first principle. If you want to make a low code, no code platform, anyone can build it. You have to use the generic code. Nothing should be hard coded. And in Logic App, provide much flexibility that we can input the parameter dynamically as per our need. So now here is the requirement. Now I will change the requirement. Like one of the customer don't want the name and the code. Their requirement is like they want a country name and they want a country code. So now I will do that also. So I will use a select connector here. So like if we see the data operation, like now I want to perform some operation on the data. So we have a data operation connector and then we have many connect actions, or we can say the, so I will select the select connector. Now here we need to pass the input from where they need input. So we need to pass the input from the upper connector. I will click on the dynamic content. I will select the file content. Now here the file content will not come directly. It will be in the base64 format. Like many of us are very familiar with the base64 format. So here I will decode that format. So here we can see that Microsoft is also providing many inbuilt action, or we can say the script, and they have a very good intelligence also. Like I want to do the decode, you can see it's coming, and it is also guiding me what need to be done. Now I need the data from the previous connector. I will select this, and the path of the previous connector is this. And I want to convert this into a JSON. Now here I can give the name. So I will give the name as a country name. And from the value will come. So the value should come from the item. So I will give the name as item. And what is the mapping? So it's the name here. Name. So I will give the name. I will click on add. I will click on save. Now I will change the response, like earlier it was reading from the file content. Now I will change this to select operation. So now you can see, with just less script, I have changed it. So I have already created one sample where I have changed more. I will show you directly. So before coming to this session, I was doing a rehearsal on this to prepare. Like I want to give the variant. Like one customer want a country name and another customer want in the same format. How we can handle that? So that also we are handling here. So here I will remove this terminate and I will remove this also. Now I will save this. And so here you can see the one response where I'm just changing v equal to 1 and I'm getting response like this, and I will change v equal to 2. I'm getting a response in another format from the same logic app. And if suppose user is sending another input and I have not write the code, so here I'm mentioning invalid version. So how exactly this is happening, we can see here. So here I have used the switch connector. So here I have used the switch connector. I am taking the input from the users. And here the input user is passing from the queries. So I am reading the queries. And then I have used the switch connector and taking the call. Like in the here you can see my response go to the default one where I have not passed that message. In this case, it is in the second thing. So this is just I will say it's just a teaser like how we can build a serverless application with low code or no code platform. And how many, like here I have just mentioned few of the ERP system for which we have solved this problem. Like if we talk about the big ERP system, SAP and Oracle NetSuite Dynamic 365. These are some big ERPs. We have solved the complex problem using the Logic app. And like file format, when I talk, it's a PyDex. PyDex mostly when the two petroleum company talk with each other, they use the PyDex format. When the banks are talking with each other, they are using the Swift format. When our applications are talking, IoT device, they are talking in the JSON format, XML. EDI mostly used by the pharmaceutical industries. So all files are having, like all industries having their own standards. And Microsoft Logic app support everything. They have inbuilt connector for each and every, I can say the system. Even you can like suppose you want to build an application where someone posted on the Twitter with respect to the Viva College or the Raw Engineering. You can't go and check every time. Just create the app, create the Logic app and it will trigger automatically. So I will just take few more minutes for the event-based thing. So like to create the event-based, what I will do, I will create one more Logic app just to show the reactive programming. So till that time, like the resource are building, if anyone have any doubts or any question, you all free to ask.
Hello.
Yeah.
Sir, in terms of API, as you shown, how can we provide a security check? Like sometimes we used to say that this API should not be a public or should be
Yeah.
accessible to a particular person. And my second question is how we can handle the response time for a particular API in Logic App.
Yeah. So with respect to the security, like if you want to put any security, Microsoft Azure APM provide all that layer. In APM, we can go and like suppose if we want a two-factor authentications, then we need to configure the two-factor authentication there, and we need to apply the policy. Like suppose you have 100 API, you can apply 100 different policy also and add the parent also. So APM provide the policy check where we can go and provide that policy. And in my career, I have implemented few security layers. Like when we deal with the multiple company, they need a security, otherwise they will not come. So one of the security check we have applied was the certificate authentication, where we are generating, like they will generate the public key and the private key. They will share the public key with us. I will logged in with the public key. Like whenever I will make the API call, I will configure the public key and then I will make the call. So in API, we do not need to write any code. We do not need to explore any new thing. In the APM policy, we can go and we can just write the XML script. It will do the certificate check. It will verify the thumbprint. Second, two-factor authentication, just go and configure it. It will handle that. And third is like, as you mentioned, you want to restrict it. So Microsoft also provide the VNet service that we called it as the virtual net. So in that case, you need to go with the second plan, the standard plan, where you need to configure the VNet. And whatever systems are in that VNet, then only that API will be accessible. So depend upon the use case, we can go with the product we want. So if my requirement is not with the VNet, I will not go for it, I will not pay for it. So that's the reason each and every product they are saying pay as you go. Hope I answered your question.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, thanks.
Thank you.
So here I am just creating one trigger based on the blob. So my trigger is like whenever something will happen on that blob location, like if files are getting added or edited, I need an email notification. So here I will select the container name, connection, I don't know. So here I am configuring my trigger, like this kind of programming, we called it as a reactive program. And I want a notification when something get added in the demo container. So I have selected a demo. Then here we can mention the frequency also. Like I will, like for the demo purpose, I will set it as a 1 second. And what I need to do. So I want the email notification. I can go with the Outlook. Send email. Okay, the screen is shared. That's the reason it is not allowing me to open the pop-up. But still, I will able to show you that how the reactive program is working. So I will just save this. Now here I will, this is the run history page where I will, it's empty because currently nothing is happened on that blob. Now I will go and I will upload something. Or I will edit, like I will edit this. I will just add one space and click on save. The file is edited. So here you can see automatically the event has been triggered. So what kind of things we can do? Here we can see the detail also, like what is the detail? Which file and what was the, what exactly happened, like add, delete, modify. So here we can see all the details. Whether the file has been modified or added or created. Here you can see that I edited one file and I added one file. I added one file and edited one file. So we can say 2 times it automatically trigger. So in this way we can go and create the, I can say the reactive program. Like suppose if my server is like one application is continuously monitoring one server and suddenly it went down. It will place some file here and automatically it will pick that notification and it will send email to us. So this kind of programming we called it as a reactive programming. So whatever I have shown you is just a small teaser that what Logic App can do without writing much code. And suppose if you want to achieve the same thing, using the code, you will spend your entire day establishing a connection with the blob or sending an email. You will spend the entire day, then you will show to your seniors, you will follow the DevOps cycle and everything. And with respect to the troubleshooting part, like how we can do the troubleshooting. So if anything went wrong, you will have a very detailed things. Like when yesterday I was building, I faced many issues. Here you can see the all run, how much time it is taking, what went wrong, why went wrong. You can go and just see it. So troubleshooting is also very easy with the help of Logic App. So I'm almost done with my session. If anyone have any question, you can ask me. And whatever I have used is just a 0.01% of, I can say, the Logic App. Any question? Sure.
It might be just a vague comparison, but how we go against the likes of Firebase with this Logic App?
Firebase is a different product which Google offer. I have not used much, but like Firebase, we are sending the notification on the mobile, correct?
Yes.
We are doing the push notification.
Yes, and there is some backend thing we can do on Firebase as well.
Yes. So similar thing you will get here also when we will do the product to product comparison. So I have not used Firebase. That's the reason I will not able to answer. But if you say any example, I will able to assist you with the Logic App, like how this can be done using the Logic App.
I think the way you demonstrated, I think I get the answer, but I cannot even provide one such example. That's fine, that's fine.
So one of the Firebase use case I know is to send the device notifications.
Correct.
So we can go, like we need to search that connector in the Logic app, and then we can do that.
Fine.
And like we use the blob storage here. If you are using a AWS, then I guess it's a S3 bucket. And in Google also we have a storage. I am not able to recollect that name. So almost all are working in the same manner.
Is there any way, how do you handle APM monitoring in this? Like your infrastructure monitoring, your Grafana, Loki, or Prometheus sort of a setup? How would we go about it?
With respect to the security mechanism, correct?
No, so if we are building the entire API in this Logic Pro, how would we know the P95 latency of my APIs, of all of my codes?
So APM also provide the APM monitoring, where we can go and check the real time. Like many times it's happening that whenever user is making call is not reaching to the API server itself. In that case, we are seeing the gateway failure. Sometime the failure is from the client end. In that case, this will not come to the APM also. That we will not get. But if anything is coming to APM, but it is not going to the Logic app or any of the Kubernetes service. So in APM, we have a live monitoring, where we can go and check how many hits are coming, from where it is coming. They have everything. And on top of it, we can go and schedule our trigger also. If the continuous hits are coming, we want to monitor it. So that is also possible. So I will show you a very small example here. Monitoring here. And we can see, like here they have provided an option. Analytics, app insight. We need to configure it.
Got it.
And this is the security part. And even we can see the live transaction also.
And just like when we code, we have GitHub that logs the entire activity of each user, and we have
Yes.
rollbacks and all of that. Is that available?
Yes, that is also available. Like I will give the example here. In the Logic app, like we are building too many things. I have saved many times. I want to go back to any of the version. I just here, every time we are saving, it is creating the version here. If you want to see what exactly you done with that version, just click on it. You will be able to see that in the read-only preview. If you like that, click on promote option. Immediately that will get rolled back. So here we have a promote option. And the second part is like whenever we are building a Logic app. So Logic app, Microsoft Logic app provide a 3 way of building. One is directly using the portal. Second is via PowerShell. Third is via Azure SDK. And the fourth is from the Visual Studio directly itself. So suppose we want to move the Logic app from the UI to production. Then we can build the Logic app in the Visual Studio, convert into a templatized format, and then with the help of CI/CD, the deployment will happen on the respective resource group. Yeah.
Any other questions do we have? So thank you, Mr. Vibhuti. That was a very fascinating demo. Even our admin, Abhijit Masterji, got fascinated that we should try this. And even I have tried building APIs in 15 to 20 minutes, but this was, I think, even faster than that.
Yes. Like I was speaking, I was handling mic on one hand, I was typing with one hand.
Yeah.
So we have solved many complex problem. Like one of the customer was the Tesco. Like in India, we have a DMart. Similar kind of thing we have in London, we have a Tesco. Even like Star is also, like you can see the Tesco logo there. So in my previous organization, we have built a transaction system for the Tesco where whatever transaction will happen in the Tesco store, they will send the data to us, we will transform the data, and we will send the data to the respective target system. So we handle more than 100 customer and execution was more than 3 to 5 lakhs every day. And it was real time. So that part of load we have handled with the help of Logic App.
Yeah, that was so insightful. Thanks for that, Mr. Vibhuti.
Yeah, thanks. And thanks once again for this organizing this. Like I really also like to enjoy such sessions.